Now, control panel. First thing you see is the mode button. The mode button selects between speed, top heat, and bottom heat. And if I start with my speed, that'll display your setting for your speed. These two buttons control the up and down. So right now it's on speed 7, so you can see I'm lowering the speed or increasing the speed.
Now that's a speed setting. That does not equate to feet per minute.
No, not quite. The speeds are a little bit, they're close to 1 foot per minute per indicator, but a little off, just a little. So when people start talking, you say, what do I put it? Just tell them speed 5. Well, how fast is that? Well, it's about close to 5 feet a minute.
Close enough.
Give or take.
Close enough, yeah.
It's right below speed 6.
Yeah. Yeah. And see, here's the other thing people don't realize is I can put it at speed 5, and if I start cranking my brakes down, guess what happens? It slows the machine down. So speed 5 with a lot of brake tension is not going to be 5 feet a minute. So that's why we just give them a general idea of where to go, as a recommended setting. So these are what we suggest you set it at. And then you, as an operator, however comfortable you are or whatever you're running, you can make your own adjustments to the machine. Okay? So, speed. There's the top heat. You have top heat on and off. So you got off and on. Whoops, I didn't turn the bottom heat on. That, and then you can control, in this mode setting right now, I'm on top heat, so now I can raise and lower that. Same thing with the bottom heat. I can set it top or bottom. And the one nice thing about this, the way this heat works is, if I have the machine turned off, it'll automatically default to the 90-degree setting. When I turn it on, and don't make a liar out of me. So if I turn this back on, it defaults to speed. So if I go to the top heat, well, it kept the same setting. Sorry. A lot of times it'll go back to the 90 degree, and all you do, if you want to go up to like a 300 setting, you just press the down button and it jumps to 302. And then you can adjust it down. That way you're not sitting there waiting for it to move up and down. Top heat, of course, on and off. So when you turn it off, the machine will automatically turn everything off. So I'm going to turn my heats back on. The motor, you have run and stop, and reverse and forward. The reverse only works with the foot pedal. So if you have it in reverse, it's not going to do anything until you push on the foot pedal. That's another safety feature in the machine. That way, if you have something loaded in there and you're not thinking about it, if you push the reverse button, it's not going to, pull it in or anything like that. So that's another feature. On the side, you have the gap pressure settings. You have 3 mounting settings, and then you have 2 film settings. You have thick film and thin film. And the thick film is the 5 and 10 mil. The thin film is the 1.5 and 3 mil settings.
So different pressures on the rollers.
Yeah. Yep, because thicker films, if you try to run that at the thinner settings, you're just going to cause the film to bunch up at the rollers, and you're going to get a lot of waves and stuff like that in it.
Where you don't have that on smaller units, that's because of the width that you're dealing with as much as anything else.
Yeah. Yep.
And the mounting is ½ inch, quarter inch, and 3/16?
You got quarter, 3/16, 1/8, and a 1/16. I have to put my eyeballs on to see them. Okay?
I noticed you've been running this without the top guard.
Right. I'm comfortable enough that I can run it without it. It'll operate without this, and the reason why is because we have this photo eye. Yeah. So if I have, I'm going to close the rollers.
Especially if you're using tacky film, it'll have more of a tendency to stick to that.
So you can see that the machine is running right here, if I get my fingers close to those rollers, it's going to shut off. So if you're a new operator, I suggest running it with your safety shield until you get comfortable. After you've run it for a while, then you can go ahead and remove the safety
Then all you have
shield.
to do is just reset the motor at that point.
Yep, because when you break that beam, it shuts the motor off, and
The heat stays on.
the heat will stay on. Yeah. Yep. The only thing that'll shut the heat off is the main switch back here, or these two buttons right here.
Gotcha.
That's what.
E-stop on?
Pardon?
E-stop?
The E-stop shuts everything down. Okay.
How many speed settings?
There are 8 speed settings.
In half increments or full? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 1.5?
They're just a hair. You know, they're right around the 1 foot mark.
Okay.
A little bit off.
No, I'm talking about the readout. It's just going to be 1.0, 2.0. It doesn't go 1,
Oh, yeah,
1.5,
no,
2.0.
no, just the straight number. Yeah.
And
Okay.
do you have an actual temperature reading?
Yes. Once you start heating up your rollers, if you want to see what your actual temperature is, the Fahrenheit button right here. So let's take a look at what the top heat is. I'll put it in top heat. I'll press this button, and that tells me what my actual temperature is.
Push and hold it.
You got to push and hold it. When you release it, it goes back to your setting. However, whatever you have it set at.
That's cool.
Now, another safety feature on the machine, there are several, I think it was 6 error codes, depending on if you've got a problem in the machine, it'll tell you what those error codes are, and it'll display it. So if I accidentally block this top heat sensor, it will sit here for about a minute, and then it'll say, an error code will pop up on the display screen, and it starts beeping at you, saying, hey, we have a problem. And you look at it and it says E3. E3 means my top sensor's blocked. So I remove that, turn the machine off, turn it back on, and it resets everything. We'll turn our heaters back on. Same thing with the bottom sensor. If that becomes blocked, it'll do the same thing, and I think it's E6 will pop up on that display screen, and that way you'll know that your bottom sensor is blocked.
And that's this little sensor right here.
Yep, that's that sensor right there. And there's the other one is a little harder to see, but it's underneath that roller. You can only see it from the front. The other thing for the machine is on the back electrical panel, there's a switch for your fans. So if you're running 5 and 10 mil film, sometimes a 3 mil film you might have to, but for 5 and 10 mil, you want to cool that film down before it gets out the back side of the machine. Otherwise, when it drops off, it'll cool in that position, and everything that you've run will have a downward curl to it. So you want to get that stuff cool as quickly as possible. The fan back here, so you can hear now with those fans on, that's going to cool that film down.
There's a bunch of them.
Yeah, there are eight cooling fans in there, if I recall correctly.
If every one of those is a fan, there's 11 of them.
11?
6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of them.
10. Okay, 10.
Bob, got a question?
Yeah.
Since foam boards, when they heat up, can have a tendency to curl, is it worth it using the fans for those? Would that help prevent curling, or is that not?
No. What causes the curl in the boards? There are 2 things that cause it. Number 1, only the bottom rollers are driven in these machines, just like in the 2700s. The top rollers are always free turning. So what happens is when you're driving just one roller, it'll do this to the board. It causes it to come and curl up. If both rollers were driven, they'd come out flat. But it's just because that bottom roller is driven is what causes the curl in those boards. Now, a lot of people, especially in camera shops like Ritz Camera and people like that, they'll run a film on both top and bottom. And that helps reduce that curl or even get rid of it. So if you put a film on there. The other thing that does is that also protects the back side of that board so that it won't absorb moisture just like the top side does, and that gets rid of curl also.
So if it curves down, what causes curving down?
Curving down, generally,
Heat sometimes.
Well, isn't that just a normal thing for, I mean, there's a little.
Well, you have the heat on
very-
there and it's so, it's just not big.
yeah, yeah.
Foam boards, the patchwork.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because this is just polystyrene. That's all that's in here. And once you start to heat this up, you do change the characteristics of the polystyrene. Yeah. When it's heating up, the light flashes. So remember, I didn't have the bottom heat on, so you can see it's flashing. If I go back to the top, it's constant because we're at our set temperature. Now I believe, and I got to go back through the program, if this, no, that gives us an error code now, does it? If I go way over my set temperature, that gives us a different error code. All right. On some of them, like on the 2700s, if you go over a certain temperature, the light starts flashing really fast. And that tells you that you're higher than what your set temperature is. You're out of your spec. Okay? What would normally cause that is a block sensor. But we changed the program to warn you now. If a sensor gets blocked, it tells you, I'm blocked. Clean out the blockage, and then we'll start over.